I'm really not a fan of snitching. I feel like at this point it starts to sound like I'm like a bigger drug dealer than Kanye West. Because like if I pick up from the lab and then I pick up again from someone and then I drop off at the lab, and then I think that's where the story of Colorado starts, where like, but I don't think so, because my understanding is that like the only time I dropped off from Lockheed Martin was from when I was going to long-term storage, and you can store drugs anywhere from Colorado Springs to Monument, pretty much the Air Force Academy to Monument to Woodland Park to Cripple Creek. There's a tunnel system, and you can drop off in Woodland Park and pick up in Monument, and you can drop off in Monument and pick up in Woodland Park. So I dropped off in Woodland Park a lot of times to people in Monument, and I've dropped off in Monument a lot of times to people in Woodland Park. And but that's really like what I was really doing was like I was putting it in the tunnel because there's like a storage place. And so like, yeah, like I feel like I've done a lot of like in Colorado it was like you pick up from Texas, you drop off at the lab, you pick up from the lab, you put it somewhere that like can like be, it has so many exits. Like that's like a place that it just has too many exits. So yeah, it's weird because I don't believe it. Like as I snitch, it's like, like, do you actually believe that you, like when you dropped off in Ingram, did it feel like you were dropping off in Ingram? I feel like it'd be a pretty tough drop off. Like that would have been a pretty weird one. It's kind of like picking up in or dropping off in Malibu or picking up in Malibu. There are some like sometimes like when you're dropping off in the Pacific Palisades, you're like, well that's easy, but like that's an easy one to drop off there, but like when you're like I don't know, like when you're going to the grocery store, it's like how could I drop off at the grocery store? Like it's kind of like that. Okay, so did I say where I picked up yet? I picked up from Riverdale. Has everyone seen Riverdale? The maple syrup people, Lost Maples. Yeah, I picked up it from the state park. I went hiking. I had a state park pass. I ran into Lizzie Grant's mom. She owns FEMA hospitals. Like she owns a company that does hospitals for FEMA, for emergency hospitals. And I didn't know anyone else in the situation. And yeah. And like, was I planning on picking up? I have no idea. Like I wasn't really paying attention. Like it was kind of like, this is the situation I'm in. Fuck. And like like all I remember is like having to sit on the drugs for like a month. It was a fucking nightmare. Like I had already been searching, like I was just sitting on them in my fucking house, and I was like trying to clear out my house, and I was so tired, and like I just didn't want to interact with my family, and I was like the only healthy person clearing out the house, and like I was trying to move, and like all I wanted to do was get to Colorado because I was so fucking scared about the drugs. And then like so I ended up just driving like 24 hours like straight, and then when I got here, that's when the guy was like, yeah, I think you need to go to the hospital, you've been poisoned. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go drop off at Lockheed Martin real quick first, obviously. No universe, would I not? So, like, I mean, like, you want to talk about a hot potato I'd been trying to get rid of for, like, fucking month. It was a fucking nightmare. Where'd I pick up in Mathis? In my grandparents' house? I went to the Lake Mathis, and I, like, sat out there, and, like, that's one of those, like, would you ever believe you picked up in Mathis? My understanding is I got busted in Mathis, like, going to my grandpa's funeral, or going to someone's funeral. I can't remember, like, why. Like, my mom and I went to Mathis and there was a bus. I don't know. Like, I feel like Mathis gets busted a lot. Like, it's just, like, kind of that place. So, I don't know. I never believe it. That's the thing. Like, every time I tell you this shit, it's like, yeah, I supply a lab. Really? Probably not. Like, how do you know? Chuck Norris hates drugs. That's how. Someone will talk to you and tell you how evil of a drug meth is, and you're like, that's those people. Apparently it's you. I don't even know. Like, I never know what I... Like, that's the thing. It's just, like, I'm so sick of it, and that's why I have to snitch. But, like, at some point, like, I don't know how like, everyone's so comfortable with making sure that you have drugs in your car if you're a person that, like, can get away with it. I don't know how I get away with it. I don't even know. Like, I think it's because, like, the cops are so committed to this guy's crazy. Like, we don't want to, like, talk about the Austin bomber, and, like, and when they're that committed to, we don't want to talk about the Austin bomber, we don't want to talk about Jeff Epstein, then they're pretty committed to, we don't want to talk about it. So, like, I think that's kind of why people keep putting it in my car, because it's like, you want to go after him, you're going to have to talk about Jeff Epstein. And then they're like, no, we're just going to put him in a mental hospital with no trial. Trust me, that's the way we do it. But, alright, I'm out of here. I got to go sit in the dark and cry. No, I just got to go sit in the dark. I'm pretty happy with my plants being done. Like, it's like, all I want is my plants to be out of the house. Like, it's like, sitting on the plants right now is a lot like sitting on those drugs, but, like, it's not. Those drugs are scary. This is not scary. I'll fight you in court over these. I will not fight you in court over the drugs I'm taking to Lockheed Martin, and I know I'm going to Lockheed Martin with them, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I would never snitch on Lockheed Martin, and that's the craziest shit. It's like, why would I not snitch on Lockheed Martin? It's a great place to snitch on. It's like, I don't know. I think everyone knows I wouldn't snitch on them. Thing is, like, I don't even think of Lockheed Martin as, like, the people, like, in charge. It's weird. No one ever tells me they're from Lockheed Martin. I always think of them as, like, other people. I don't know.